What's going on, Cowboys Nation? Welcome back to another episode of StarChasers Girls Talk Ball Offseason Edition. As you know, it's your girl Cravin Cowboys, and always I got my sister in the building, Star. How you doing tonight, sis?
What's up? What's up, Mickey? What's up, everybody in the chat? Glad to be here for another episode of Star Chasers Girls Talk Ball. We on this. Can you switch our stuff? It's saying I'm Mickey and you Star.
Let me see. Did you go out and come back in?
No. I've been in the same place. But anyway, what's up, guys? What's up to everybody in the chat?
Do have a switch?
What's up, Big Time Show? There you go. Big Time Show. Y'all shout out to Big Time. Shout out to Big Time. Love his show. Y'all subscribe to the Big Time Show if y'all haven't. He's a great Dallas Cowboys content creator. He's an OG Dallas Cowboys content creator. I hope to one day be able to do work with him. What's up, Eastside, Jameson?
Yeah, and love the new combo you got going West Coast, Big Time. Y'all do a great show. Both of y'all always facts. And it really just
loving that.
For real. Yeah, I love that new combo going on. Y'all
What's up, Tyrone? Glad to see you. Glad to see everybody in the chat today for sure.
Hey, everybody. Yeah, welcome to our weekly show. I'm glad everybody's tapping in. Like she said, before we get started, hit the like button, hit the share button. If you listen out on Twitter, Stars over 1,000 followers on Twitter. Listen up, y'all. Listen up, y'all. I don't know if y'all heard these past few weeks, these past few months, you guys gotta listen. Look, y'all, if y'all just hit subscribe button, a simple tap on the subscribe button will have my girl monetized. All right, please give my sister there. She's right. She's literally there, y'all. Just gotta hit just one button, y'all. Just do her, please, y'all. We both.
I'm trying. I'm doing the best. I'm trying. So is Mickey. Mickey been killing it. Her last video went viral, almost damn near 2,000 plus views, crazy amount of likes. It's but help her by all them 2,000 people. Why didn't y'all subscribe to her YouTube channel? She'll be monetized by now. Stop watching our content for free and just subscribe. It's just a free click of a button. Please help us out.
Yes, y'all. We putting in time. I'm saying just like every other content creator, they're putting in time. We trying to hump y'all. It's quote unquote the off season, but it's summertime, we go on vacation, stuff like that. But we still putting in the work. Like Star said, wearing multiple hats is not easy at all. We're not asking for too much, even if you don't mind. Wink, wink. Hitting the cash apps down here at the bottom. I'm saying if you don't want to do that, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and help us out for free, y'all. It's free 99, like they like to say in the advertising.
Exactly, it's free 99. Help us out. It don't take nothing to like the video, nothing to share, nothing to subscribe. So please help us. Please help us grow our channels. Like we said, we're trying to be consistent. We're trying to pump this content out to y'all. Yes. So please reward us by doing something for free that takes a couple of seconds and help us, please.
Yes, please. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get it started for you guys. You guys know the news continues to come out. Thank goodness. No complaints over here. We definitely love the constant outpour and honestly, just in my opinion, the constant activity coming from the Cowboys. Especially this time in the season, as far as as every other Cowboys fan knows out there, that they are definitely quiet in any kind of period of the year that starts with free agent or agency or anything that according to Stephen Jones, it's 365 a year, but they like to kind of stay mum on those kind of parts. So it's good to see them, whether it's USFL or UFL now with the mergers of the two leagues coming together, but whether it's UFL, free agency, guys on other practice squads, I'm just glad to see the activity. How you feeling about this? Before we jump too deep into the players, how do you like seeing activity from our team?
I mean, I'm definitely liking the fact that we are looking at players from the spring league, obviously UFL, right? I don't know if y'all know. Thank you, Sugar Daddy. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
But Will McClay recently has been looking at the spring league to bring in talent. Some of that talent is Cavante Turpin. Some of that talent is Brandon Aubrey. These are Pro Bowl, all pro players.
Right. Well, shout out to Brandon Aubrey coming in.
Right. Record breaker, led the league in points last year. Will is cooking. That's why I said on thumbnails. Will McClay cooking? Yes, he is. He is cooking because he did bring us in for I think it was 4 guys from the UFL. And if I could bring it up, I could show it to y'all on the screen.
Oh, you got it? You gonna bring it up? Okay.
Yeah, I got it. Shout out to Nick Harris. Nick Harris on Cowboys.com.
Yeah, he stays.
He stays with the great content. So y'all please go give him a follow.
Hey, David. Okay,
what's up, David? That's my guy. What's up, David? Thank you. Mickey, you got to take the
let me get this
take our background off. But here y'all go. So this is shout out to Nick Harris. Y'all can see his handle there. So y'all can follow him, Nick Harris DC. Again, he is a Dallas Cowboys insider, works for DallasCowboys.com. But here is a list of players.
Well, make sure you guys
check out. He writes. Exactly what Mickey said. He writes amazing articles. But y'all can see right here that these are the 4 players that we brought in. Noah Dawkins from the Michigan Panthers, linebacker Willie Harvey Jr., who I think he led the league in tackles and tackles for loss. I think he had like 9 or 10 tackles for loss or something like that. So they brought in Willie Harvey Jr. from St. Louis Battlehawks, cornerback Garyon Conley, who was previously in the league. Him and DeAndre Baker both were former first-round picks. Mm-hmm. I forget which teams, but these guys were Garyon Conley and DeAndre Baker were both former first-round picks, both from the DC Defenders.
Baker actually was with the Giants in 2019.
Giants. Okay.
And Conley was with he actually I think he was with the Raiders and the Texans. I remember looking up some highlights.
Okay, yeah.
Highlights.
Right. I think I know for sure Conley was with I did see him that he was with the Texans. So shout out to these guys. I don't know if we're going to sign any of them, but these are guys that we obviously brought in that we are interested in. Somebody, Tyrone Church, said, I want a DT. I do too. Yes, I had just put on. That's crazy that he said that because I literally, one of my tweets, like literally, where is that put here? Everybody was liking it. I'm like, yeah, because what are we? Yeah, here. I'm confused on why the DT position isn't being addressed. Right. What the hell is going on? Look at somebody talking about
DTs out there. Like y'all looking from linebacker to cornerback to wide receiver. Like we ain't missing the whole middle. Like Osa not out hurt. Like Mozzie isn't coming back from shoulder surgery. Like Golston and Fahoko, like y'all ain't even figured out what y'all want to do with them. You know what I'm saying? So like
exactly. How y'all got really? What's up, Kelvin? That's my guy, Kelvin. My guy, Carl. Shout out to Carl. Carl, thank you. He said I shared in both of my Cowboys groups. We appreciate that, Carl.
Yes, thank you.
We appreciate that from the bottom of our hearts, for real. But yeah, I mean, I do now. You know, we did talk about Stephen Jones hinting that there may be some trades with the Washington Commanders and all this stuff. But it's like, okay, that's fine. But when y'all gonna do it?
Right. You're making all the other moves. Like when they say when you really want to do something, you make time for it. Like you put in all this time in other positions. When we're once again, I mean, are we not looking at I don't want to say a rerun, but last year we dealt with inconsistencies in a really, really light linebacker room. Like I'm glad we're addressing that this year, but
right. I mean, we're addressing the hell out of the linebackers, but it's like okay, but in order to have effective linebackers, you need effective defensive tackle. So, like Mickey said, Osa's hurt. Mozzie's hurt. So who you left with? Carl Davis,
right?
Justin Rogers and Denzel Jackson. Like those guys, but Carl Davis is a journeyman.
Right.
No disrespect to him, but he's a journeyman. And then you have Denzel Jackson and Justin Rogers. Those are rookies.
Right.
Right, those are rookies, and we know it takes defensive tackles a few years to cook before they're ready. So it's like, who are the veterans that we're going to bring in here that can help us that can play today? You know what I'm saying? So hopefully we do have about 6 weeks before camp starts. Yeah. So hopefully, during this time, we sign some more guys. Hopefully we sign our guys. Like maybe we can get Speedy's contract done. Like we got 6 weeks. Stephen and Jerry to get that contract done. I know everybody was saying, "Oh, we're waiting on Justin Jefferson." Justin Jefferson got paid. What was that? Last week or 2 weeks ago?
Last Monday. Yeah, last Monday. Like it's And selfishly, as I guess as a Cowboy fan looking out, for news, and so I was hoping maybe the next day, the next 24 hours, next 48 hours, maybe even next 72 hours, we would have seen some kind of activity or talks, or hey, we did this today, we talked with CJ today, or hey, we got this far since we now have this number.
Right. That's a good process, and that's what we haven't seen. Like, we just haven't seen Cowboys are talking, negotiations are heating up. All we've seen is the same BS. They want to sign him. They're going to sign him. They don't want it. They don't want any of these players to hit free agency. A blue. But we're not seeing.
Right. It just seems
any action.
Cowboys are just addressing things that and I don't know. Like maybe it's just me, but we see this I think we see this in several offseason where the Cowboys seem to address everything in the room, but the problem. I'm saying they trying to make all this hoopla and make all this. Oh, we're in the media. Oh, you see us over here. We see us over here. When we still have this huge problem. And of course now, I guess like I mentioned earlier, this year's DT, and that's always been. That's been a problem when we've had DTs. When we thought we had the depth in the room, we thought we had even stars at the position. And now, because I didn't even know. At first they were. I don't know if they were hiding it, quote unquote, but we didn't see Osa out there, not knowing what was going on, and now knowing that he's dealing with something with his hip. It's like, come on, like we were already kind of knocked down off our peg, seeing Hankins go over to a whole other team, and now we have to deal with our guy going to, I think it was third, fourth year, who was a prime starter, a great starter who made a mauler, and that who's he didn't have he kind of leveled out later in the year last year, but just seeing a guy who, like we talked about last year, someone who's really progressed every year. We've seen Osa make a step damn near every year. I'm saying just being a pillar really of that D line. So this number one, we kind of complained when he didn't have any help. So now to see him kind of go down with hopefully not a big injury, but just something that he's dealing with, whether it's a light sprain or whatever it is. Hopefully it's something he can come back with. And they have said it's more precautionary, and they had that. They kind of said of other players too, where they're just following timelines, according to whatever injury they have. So hopefully it is more precautionary than anything, but. Sis, they gotta start addressing these problems, and before it has an effect. It's already having an effect. Whether we're in the season or not, it's already having an effect. But you have to solve this problem before we touch the season, because if you wait, whoever you bring in has to get chemistry with the room, has to learn the scheme, and we already going in with a new coach. Like it's a conundrum, sis. So it's just like
exactly. And shout out to Boss Cowboy, who's our investigator in the content community, and he did do a show where Steven said that he's looking to bring in all these big bodies and stuff. He said before camp. So there should be some unless Steven Jones was lying, which Steven's not really the liar. That's more so Jerry, who kind of lies and spins narratives and does that type of stuff, because Jerry, he's a smooth talker,
Right.
But Stephen Jones is usually straightforward. So unless Stephen Jones is lying, there should be some transactions that go on in these next 6 weeks before training camp. Yes, so y'all know we definitely gonna be, whatever we do, we're gonna be reporting it to y'all and talking about it. Hopefully these are issues that can get addressed ASAP. So that, like you said, sis, like we need them in camp. We need them in camp. What I'm saying? Like building the camaraderie, building the chemistry, learning the ins and outs of the defense or the offense. Like we need you guys in camp. Not going to do us any good to bring you in really after. Unless you're like that dude, you know what I'm saying? Like
unless you're like Hankins or someone who's been part of the offensive program, someone who doesn't actually need to go through one. But yes, it's like for them to be lacking, to have no movement, at least in that department, like it's a little. I don't like using the word scary, but for you guys to address the elephant in the room, literally the elephant, a huge problem. Like it's a little. It's a little shaky for me. You know what I'm saying?
It's a little shaky, and we're not gonna be what's up, Keystone? That's my guy. And Daddy Yoda. I appreciate you, Daddy Yoda. He encouraged me the other day in my comment. He said, "Don't give up, Star. Keep going. We love your content. I watch it all the time." I said, "Okay, I'm not gonna give up."
But never do that, sis. Yeah, we love watching your stuff.
It's just like this. we're gonna be a little bit on edge about it until they address it.
Yeah, so, like Carl said, like we mentioned earlier, like them having defensive ends going back and forth, and that's something I want. Like bring in a guy who specializes, or whose position is a defensive tackle, and have them play that position. Like we kind of see that on the offensive side. Well, we're seeing player flexibility, and they're putting guys where they want them at, and then seeing how it's working out. But I want them to bring in a guy who specializes in defensive tackle, who specializes in being a one tech, and like someone mentioned earlier, let me see, like Carl mentioned earlier, excuse my language, but yes, a fat ass one tech. I'm with it. Like we need some big bodies. Like sometimes just being that refrigerator in the middle of the field can be intimidating. Like you don't know for right now who you're going to be going up against. So if you're going possibly up against a rookie center, or even a rookie guard, or a guard in maybe a first or second year, just having that big body can be intimidating. So that can be a one up on the offensive side. So just bringing in those big bodies, like we have on the offensive side. We have those tall guys. We're bringing in those physical guys. A Cooper Beebe, that's so in itself. Bring in a Cooper Beebe on the defensive side, please. Like
right,
big body on that side. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Absolutely. We definitely need a big body on the other side. Like I said, the only way that I would feel comfortable bringing in a guy after training camp, because you do have before the trade deadline, right, which is after the season starts, to perfect your roster, but you don't want to wait to the trade deadline if you can do something now.
Yeah,
you understand what I'm saying? Like trade deadline that's pretty much your last push, your last desperate move to say, okay, this is what I feel like I can utilize to help my team get over the hump and push us to a Super Bowl.
Right.
But if we can handle those issues beforehand, like let's go ahead and handle it now. Let's get these guys in training camp. Let's get these guys in shape. Because when you bring someone in, after the trade deadline, especially if they just come off the couch, it takes about 2 weeks to get the players like acclimated and stuff like that. So I personally would prefer a player if we are going to trade for a player after the season starts, I need it to be like Jonathan Allen caliber. You know what I'm saying? I need it to be top dog caliber. Otherwise, I'm just like, or like a specialist, like you said, when we brought in Jonathan Hankins at the trade deadline a few years ago, somebody who can come in and help us right now. Right. And they didn't need. But he was playing too.
Yeah, and even to your points, is like you said, even when you are bringing in, like in big times word, a dog, you can bring in a dog like Hankins, but then it's going to take the time for them to come in, like you said, get that chemistry going, mesh with the defense, learning. Right. You know what I'm saying? Even if they do come in mid-season, you can't just pop on the team. Even when you bring in a guy who's been playing that year, even we've seen other teams who've acquired players from other teams playing in that same year. They still have to take time, come in, get that chemistry going, and just making sure their body's right. You know what I'm saying? We saw when we acquired T.Y. Hilton, even Rashaan Evans, they didn't have a huge impact on the team, but we saw they didn't have an instant impact as well, because we saw them kind of waited out. We saw them wait a couple of weeks to actually get them kind of ramped up. You know what I'm saying? So
it takes a while. It takes a while to get them ramped up. Exactly. And even when they're already playing, it still takes them about a week or so to get on the field, because they still got to learn playbook and all that stuff. So I would just prefer for us to really address this issue. And if we got to get another one tech at the deadline, to get another one. But I think we need to roll in with at least a veteran or two for camp. Right now, we don't have any veteran besides Carl Davis. And that's it. And
literally, like, sis, like,
and we got nobody else.
This is what we're talking about with the linebacker room, right? They didn't really have that veteran leadership in the room, and not saying that Osa isn't a leader, and not saying that Carl, even though he's been, I know he was with the Patriots for a little bit. Even with Hankins, I know he kind of, with different teams. Even though they could have had that leader aspect, because they were a veteran, they had more time put in, but. Like we said with the linebackers, we see what difference it makes when you bring in that guy who can teach younger guys, or even teaching a Justin Rogers. You know what I'm saying, like you said, teaching a Daxon who can teach them not only teach them, but hey, in that time they are ramping up or learning themselves.
Right.
These young guys,
mentorship is what we need. We need that mentorship, but we don't have it. And we saw, if y'all watch my video on Damone Clark. First of all, pause. Shout out to Eastside. He gave me $10. Shout out. Thank you, Eastside. Appreciate it.
Eastside. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Eastside. But hold on. What was I saying? Oh, but dang, I lost my train of thought.
Talking about bringing in bets in the DT room.
Oh yeah, like that's what I was saying. Like, how the lack of veteran leadership affected our linebackers last year.
Right.
They didn't know what the hell was going on, right? And so I feel like we've got to get some type of veteran defensive tackle that can come in because of that. If not, our one techs are not going to know what the hell is going on. Osa is old enough now. He's pretty much in control of the 3-tech room. He is a leader at this point. He's going into this will be his 4th year. So I'm good with Osa for the 3-tech. But what about the 1-techs? There's no one there.
Right.
There's no one there. You know what I'm saying? What's up, Amp? What up to Amp Sports in the chat? Y'all give him a follow. Put his chat on the screen. Y'all give Amp Sports a follow. He's definitely our guy. We need to have Amp on one of these. These days.
During the 6-week stretch, we gotta have you on.
We gonna get with you, Amp. But shout out to Amp Sports. Y'all go subscribe to his YouTube channel if y'all haven't already. But we definitely we need leadership. We need leadership at every position, because where there's no leadership, the players are gonna be lost.
Right. No, I'm saying you hear them coming out with that this year, and not just Damone Clark. You have the players like you said, Demarion Overshawn saying that he's learning even with his time being off the field, and I'm sure other guys get the same thing with. Who was I just thinking of? Jordan Lewis. Even being a vet, even these older players are still saying that they're learning from a coach like Zimmer. Even like one thing, like you said, excuse me, a bug, y'all. It's one thing when you hear a young player say that they're learning from a coach. They're supposed to do that, right? It's the rookie year. They haven't really, they've only been in this one program, only under one coach as far as Damone Clark or Overshawn. But when you have a vet like Jay Lou speaking up about learning, you know what I'm saying, and other guys in the room saying that, hey, this is the Kendricks.
I didn't know Jay Lou was speaking about learning, but that's crazy. Like, it's clear. Everybody is saying, I thought it was just the linebacker, but no, it's the cornerbacks. Too. Everybody on the defense talking about leadership, talking about learning. We've been learning. They wasn't saying that with the previous regime. That's all I'm saying. Like, and the fact that they're like, we actually know what's going on, that means they didn't know what was going on in the previous regime. They wasn't learning. Because y'all remember, I keep reminding y'all, Dan Quinn's philosophy was what? Play fast and physical. I want you to play fast and physical.
Right.
It was nothing about knowing your position, knowing the gaps, knowing, what type of coverage and all of this type of stuff. Because y'all remember, we didn't play zone much at all.
Right.
We were a man team. It don't take much IQ to play man.
Exactly. And then it seemed like DQ was trying to get the whole overall scheme across to the whole team, you know what I mean? As opposed to just teaching this one particular group, as opposed to just focusing on the safeties, or at one point focusing on the D line. Like, you're not really trying to translate what's going on in front of the linebackers. Like you said, they don't know what's going on in front of them. They're not going to know where to be. So that's why we saw them out of position a lot of times. So it's a trickle down effect. You know what I'm saying? Like we talked about on the offensive side about them having a connectivity about how it has to be a flow where they have to connect. We have to see that same thing on the defensive side this year, not just because we have a new coach coming in and of course some players coming in as well, but we have to see it because it takes a whole entire flow for the team to be able to accomplish a goal. That's what we hope to see with the defensive. That's what Zimmer said when he first kind of came on, right? Trying to keep the opposing side from scoring. Trying to keep trying to get back to getting the turnovers going. So they're going to
Right, keeping that opposing side from scoring. That's a huge one. Because you see, we weren't focused on Dan Quinn's defense was, I don't know if y'all know this term, but they call it a bend, don't break defense. That's why you would see teams would always move the ball on us, right? But then we would squeeze them in the red zone to where they could only get 3, or sometimes we would stop them. We would stop them completely, right? And which would lead to a turnover on downs. But Zimmer is like, nah, bro, we not no big. Zimmer's philosophy is not bent on break. Our goal is to stop the points, stop the yardage. That's our goal. Because see, Dan Quinn didn't care about that because his focus, excuse me, y'all, his focus was on turnovers.
Right.
Zim is like, we like turnovers. Of course, we want to get turnovers, but that's not the focus of my defense. My defense's focus is to play discipline, right? To do your job so that everybody else can do their jobs.
Yep.
That's what his defense is about. To not be giving up yards and points. Because, like I said, Dan Quinn wasn't too concerned about that, but Zim for sure is. And we saw in the big games, especially this past season, when it came to the big games, our defense couldn't stop anything. They couldn't stop anything. We just got blown out to smithereens. And that's no way to live, and you will find yourself in the big games. Oh man, we could just get a turnover. We cannot live our lives hoping for a turnover.
And those were, I ain't gonna lie, those are hard times. Like you say, it got to the point where you were wishing for a turnover. He's like go ahead, get the interception. Like
we just need a turnover. We could just get a turnover. Like, bro, this is these other teams.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, you as a team, you can't live off special plays. You have to live like we talked about earlier. You have to live off the fundamentals. You have to live off the techniques.
Right. You heard what she said? Say it again. What'd she say? We have to live off what?
You have to live off the techniques of the game, the fundamentals of the game. Just like Zimmer is trying to come in here, like, not saying the defense forgot about the fundamentals or the main point of the game, but we saw a lot of hero ball, y'all. We saw a lot of them going for the sack. We saw a lot of
hero ball.
And no slight to him, but we saw even after a little bit, we saw Diggs trying to go for an interception. We saw him biting a lot. So and that's something like I said, talking about the vets, like not just the young guys can come in here and learn something. The vets can learn something as well, like just perfecting their game. We seen I think it was, I don't know if it was Zimmer talking about it, but I think me and you spoke about Star about D-Law coming and trying to up him as well. Him being a vet, but also I think it might have been Coach Z, because he coaches the D line, so he might have been talking about trying to up D line, make sure
it was either Coach Z or it's either Coach Z or Greg Ellis.
Yeah, just talking about making not just particularly D-Law, but just talking about these vets on the team. Even if you want to look on the offensive side, Zach Martin working with Duke Manyweather, like these vets coming in, working alongside these rookies who are showing their work ethic. Like we heard about a lot of people surprised how much these rookies are actually working their conference, the goals they want to achieve. So it's making these veterans. Before this year, did we hear about Zach working over there with Duke Manyweather? You know what I'm saying? Like just seeing things like that, and now with the whole line being over there, so at the Box Lombardi, I saw his video by him, revealing that, because I actually didn't watch Zach Martin's interview, and they did the locker room. I kind of, not saying I skip over Zach, but I'm looking for. And so I'm looking for Demo. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking for some of the younger guys coming in.
The younger guys, right?
Yeah. So, like I said, it's no slight to him, but I didn't watch Zach Martin's interview right away. So to learn that, I was surprised, because I'm used to hearing, the Zach Martin saying, "Hey, no, I don't want to switch the tackle," or "Hey, I want to hold it because I want to get my money," and that's not problematic. It's just, Zach Martin is a vet; he's earned that right. So to see that,
right?
Like I said, my whole point is just seeing a vet willing to step up and try to perfect their game, and not just resting on laurels, not just rest on, oh, this is my spot, not just saying, oh, I'm gonna have this spot, not saying he's worried about the guys behind him, because his spot is solidified, but just willing to be able to step up and say, hey, I want to perfect this, I want to do this for my game, I want to I want to have the chip on my shoulder, I want to go into the season playing for a reason. I'm saying? I don't want to just coach. You know what I mean? So I think that's very important on both sides of the ball. I know we're talking about defense, but just giving an example, I think that's
it's very important on both sides of the ball that everybody. And Keystone, you said Awesome didn't work out with Duke. I think he did, actually. I don't know who I heard that from. I gotta check back the player interviews, but I think they said Awesome has also been working with Duke. So literally, just about our whole offensive line is working with Duke Manyweather, which is, when you think about that, the best offensive line trainer in the game is training our whole offensive line. He basically, our second coach is crazy. But yeah, it's important for both sides of the ball, and I really like that Zim and them, they could have said with D-Law, what do you teach a guy like D-Law? You can't teach him anything. But they're like, no, we're going to help him. We're going to help him refine his technique. Because guess what? You can always be getting better. It doesn't matter how long you've been in the league.
Right.
You can always be getting better. Even when your body starts to fail, a lot of older players can win. Why? Because of the technique, right? They can't move the same as they did 4 or 5 years ago, but their technique still makes them supreme. Their technique still makes them superior, you know what I'm saying, right, to other guys who may be quicker than them. You know what I'm saying? So that's why football IQ, technique goes a long way. It's going to go longer than physical attributes and ability. Because guess what? Physical attributes, that's going to be the first thing to go. Right? Your physical attributes, how fast you can run, how quick you can do this, but it's like if you have the football IQ, that can keep you in the game a lot way longer. Am said Kobe talked about that same point later in his career. Yeah. Because you can't move the same. You're not going to. Your body's going to regress physically. But if you have the IQ, your career can last way longer. So I'm glad that now we have a defensive coordinator that clearly that's a focus. And shout out to Boss Cowboy and Law and the OC yesterday who interviewed Jermichael Finley, because he was also talking about how Mike McCarthy is like that. Mike McCarthy, and something we hear that Mike McCarthy does all of these installs and walkthroughs and stuff. Jermichael Finley, I don't know if many people caught on to it, but that's something unique to Mike McCarthy. He's like, that's what, like, not everybody, all the coaches and stuff don't do that. We're just so used to hearing it. We think, like, oh, it's a norm today. They do when they walk through, and then we're going to do the installs. Like, no, that's a Mike McCarthy thing. So these coaches, we needed a coach that matched Mike McCarthy on the other side of the ball that can refine the details, because we saw Mike McCarthy is a detail guy. He's a, he's one of the offensive gurus in this league.
Right.
But clearly the details, the discipline was not getting hounded on the other side of the ball. And you could clearly see that. You could clearly see that in the biggest moments. Right. Now, when we blowing everybody out, you couldn't see it, right? You couldn't see it. But when we weren't blowing everybody out and they had to be lined up and play football, it was a difficult. Difficult.
And maybe it's just me, but kind of on the personal side, like I don't know how many, when DQ was here, I'm not sure how many times I've seen, and maybe in the picture together, how many times Mike McCarthy and DQ were photographed together, or doing press conferences together, or kind of bouncing off of each other, making jokes and this, that, and third. I'm like, I know they they worked together before, faced each other before, so I'm sure they had that camaraderie, but also that kind of like button heads, playing the same position, of course. But just seeing, just like I said, just seeing their opening interviews, in this offseason, this past few weeks, and when they first started coming out with interviews, just kind of see how they kind of vibe well. And I know the season hasn't started yet. I'm just talking early, y'all. It's offseason. That's what we do. But just seeing how they kind of bounce off each other, making jokes. Hey, nah, man, this your press conference. I ain't talking. You talking like. They already have the kind of like personality with each other.
That
like,
personality, right. It does seem what I like.
Last week, just having that personal connection can also help on the field. If you're close, like personally, they can also work well with each other when they actually get in that football atmosphere.
Right. I think, and remember, Mike McCarthy brought Zim in because of his age, because of he felt like they needed to go back to that old school mentality. Because Dan Quinn, Mr. backwards hat, I'm wearing Jordans and all of this stuff, that's cute and that's fun. Right. But is that what these players need? Is that what this defense needs? Because the way that Dan Quinn was, it didn't work for the type of players that we have in the big moments.
Right.
They didn't have that edge. It was just like the players just kind of had that mindset. If things aren't going to go our way immediately, we give up. Wanye Thomas said it. He put the whole defense on blast.
Yeah, so did.
He said it was after one play in the first quarter, we just kind of gave up. Like,
Right, and
it's a reflection of
we can visually see it. It's a whole nother thing when the fans can see how you're acting on the field and can call it out and just knows that you're not making the same effort. And like you said, sis, like Britt happened in the first quarter. That translates to the whole game. No matter if you make adjustments or not. Once the mentality is gone, like you're not bringing forth the
right. You're done. You're cooked. And the fact that like Dan Quinn. That's what I said. Dan Quinn was checked out because it wasn't even bothering him that his defense looked like ass.
Right.
It wasn't even bothering him. Like you didn't see Dan Quinn like slamming stuff. You just
like
you was just sitting there shooting the breeze.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm
sure playoff game. Like what is going on?
I mean, not DQ, but where McCarthy would probably appreciate, and I'm sure before then, but I'm sure throughout the season, I just feel like McCarthy would appreciate maybe his defensive coordinator being down there on the sideline with him. You know what I'm saying? I'm not
yeah, I think McCarthy definitely gonna, because as Zim said, he said I want to get my hands on these players. If I need to make an adjustment, I need to get an adjustment quickly.
You know what I'm saying? And what might McCarthy look like? You know, hollering at the defense coming off the field like, "Oh, you ain't doing
exactly."
It's like about Dak talking to Clark. He ain't got time for that. McCarthy ain't got time.
Exactly. Exactly. Like that's exactly. That's on the defensive side of the ball. That needs to be handled by the defense, the defensive leaders, the defensive coaches. Right. And you had Al Harris and stuff like that on the sideline, but Al Harris didn't even know what to do.
Right. And he's not going to change the whole scheme up, from under Dan Quinn, even if he is on the sideline. So it's just that whole thing was a conundrum. But like just kind of segueing into the cornerback room, as just because we brought in these two guys along with the linebackers as well, but just bringing in two former first round picks and Conley and Baker. We're just going to take a quick look at the cornerback room today, just because we know we have the start, the main three. Like we talked about last week with the safeties. I don't want to look at it as a wall because we have some damn good cornerbacks, y'all. So I'm glad we have DaRon Bland.
The audio.
Your audio, y'all?
Wait, okay. I think I know what I did. All right, you there?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I'm trying to figure out my microphone. Like kind of. And it's plugged up, but I'm not. You can hear me? Okay, but it's probably through my earphone.
Yeah, let us know if you can hear Star. I can hear you.
Okay, I don't think it's through my microphone though. My microphone just kind of like tripped out on me for some reason.
Oh snap, man!
Oh well, it's all right. Let's keep going.
Well, yeah, man. And so, Tyrone says Baker will be the fourth best quarterback on this team. I could definitely see Baker being the one to come off the bench. I mean, if you just take, if you take a look at our I'm gonna bring up the list right quick. But if you just take, as we both know, the cornerback room outside of those top three, you know what I'm saying? Is really not looking. I mean, granted, we do have our fifth round pick we brought in, and we do have, guys who have been here, of course, over the years. Nahshon, right? You know what I'm saying? Guys like that, and Izzy as well. Like we can have some kind of confidence, in these guys because we did see Izzy in the playoff game. We did see him. Taking on Godwin. Like Godwin, at that point wasn't a slouch or anything like that. So seeing a young guy come in and make a statement in a playoff game, what I'm saying, that does say something. But and like like we always talk about, maybe it's because he doesn't have any kind of representation in the room, or this past season we were able to really see him at all. But we definitely. I mean, of course, we already talked about. We have to see these guys this year because it's a competitive room, and as we see, they're steadily bringing in more. I mean, we have to think about what's going through these guys' head. Like these guys have been here for years. You know what I'm saying, and hopefully, this will kind of instill something in them to maybe think to themselves, like, okay, what am I doing or what am I not doing? That's causing these guys to continuously bring in more and more of my position. I'm saying, like I said, these guys have been here for 2, 3, maybe going on 4 years for guys like Nahshon, right, Izzy. So it's just these guys definitely have to show something, or they
definitely have to show. Yeah, this is definitely put up or shut up for a lot of these guys, and that's why I'm nervous for guys like Izzy because I'm so ready to see Izzy on the field, but I'm like, will Zim like him? Will he actually get a spot? Because right now you have 2 spots locked up. Now, one thing I will say, I was talking to my brother the other day, and I said, you know what? I do think that we're probably going to have Diggs sit out for a couple of games before the season starts.
Yeah.
And if that happens, and if we're listening to the OTA notes, they said that our new corner, Kalen Carson, he's been playing primarily outside. So that to me, like, he's only been taking outside cornerback snaps. They haven't been practicing him inside at all. So this makes me think that the starting lineup, if we sit Diggs for a couple of games, which I think would be smart, because Diggs is like our precious cargo. Yes. I just think we should be smart with him, because we saw what it did to our defense when he left. It completely deflated. It changed. It completely changed the entire way our defense played.
Literally.
So we need him.
Yeah,
we need him. So I think if we're gonna rest him, and I'm
gonna cut you off, Star, but to add to your point, I also want to say the same thing with Overshown. Like, he really showed out last year, and that's how I'm feeling about him, and also really like even more strong about for Diggs, but definitely Overshown as well, because we saw even at the time we saw a lot from that young kid.
Exactly, and I think with Diggs and Overshown, because at first I was thinking, they're gonna rush him out there, but from what I hear, how Mike McCarthy's talking, I don't think we're about to rush these guys. I think we're going to, because I think with Overshown, it's gonna ultimately depend on how caught up to speed Maris is going to be. Do they feel comfortable rolling Maris out there now? Because Zim said in his interview, he's trying to get Maris and Nealon up to speed as quickly as possible, which means he wants him on the field as quickly as possible, which probably also means that they know that they don't want Overshown to start the season, which means if they don't have Overshown start the season, Maris will be the other linebacker, because it'll be Eric Kendricks, Damone Clark, and Maris Leofau.
Right.
So, but when it comes to these cornerbacks, I think the starters is going to be, what's up, Stephen White? Glad to see you. I think it's going to be Deron Bland, Kalen Carson, and I think, where that battle is going to come up? It's going to come at that nickel position, because we only playing J. Lou. Remember, J. Lou is only here on a 1-year deal, and we're paying him $2. So we're not paying him a lot of money at all.
Yeah, I agree with you there, sis. And I mean, we see with the other guys they brought in, with Baker and Conley, both playing both being outside boundary corners. You know what I'm saying? So just like you said, that position, and that's really what I love. Like I spoke about earlier, about them having action at this part of the season, not just at cornerback, but at linebacker as well. So just seeing that they're yes, granted, these are positions where, like you said, they're not going to be a starter. We're not looking for long-term answers, but we are looking to get these guys a rest, like a Demo, like a Diggs, and even hell, I mean, just in my opinion, if you're looking at John Stevens, we brought in a Brevin Span forward. We brought in Alec Holder. You know what I'm saying? So I think they're, maybe not completely learning all the lessons they should be learning, but I just like that the Cowboys are actually not trying. They learned from bringing Pollard back early. They learned from bringing, Gallup, and Steele. You know what I'm saying? So it's very
Steele.
We have to bring in stars or something like that, but we just see it. They're trying to shore up this depth to make sure they're not rushing their prime guys that they paid, like you said, like a Diggs, and Demo isn't paid yet, but they see the commodity they have, and they see this how precious that what John Stevens Jr. can bring to the position at tight end. So just seeing how special these guys are, and just like you said, not rushing them back and just taking, like McCarthy.
That's a good point, sis. That's a good point. Like, perhaps we have learned from our mistakes. Right. Thank you, Stephen White. I'm watching the game on the side here. Mavs up 19-9. All right. But perhaps we've learned from our mistakes, because it really hurt when we put Gallup out there too fast. Yes. It hurt the team. It hurt the team when we put Steele out there too fast. It hurt us. Like, you may say, just because the player, he ready, he got cleared by the doctors, does not mean that he's ready. And I think the best, if we want to get...
Do we always see they got cleared, they got right put on the field as soon as they got cleared, sis? As soon as they did.
Yep. Am said it can work as long as they don't play goofy favors. Exactly. The competition, now that they brought in these corners, because Tyron Church is saying Baker's only 25, from former first round pick.
Right.
Outside corner. They obviously want competition with Kalen Carson at that position.
Right.
Because they don't want, he's a rookie. You know what I'm saying? Baker's going to be looking for a resurgence. He just got out of the UFL, but he was drafted in the first round in the NFL. Exactly. So Baker, if they end up signing Baker, which I don't know, but if they end up signing Baker, that's going to put a lot of pressure. And then for that nickelback spot, it should be an all-out competition between Jordan Lewis, Izzy McQuamu, Eric Scott Jr.
Right.
Who else? I guess Nashawn Wright, but Nashawn Wright's not an inside corner, so he's not gonna be playing. But so really the competition is gonna be Jordan Lewis, Izzy McQuamu, and Eric Scott Jr. Which who I think Wanye said Eric Scott Jr. is a baller. Then you had Al Harris say Eric Scott Jr. took a whole nother step. So we'll have to see, because remember, Eric Scott Jr. started off hot in camp last season, right? Remember, he started off hot, but then when we got the preseason, we was like, ooh, he's not looking good at all. So
it took him a while to kind of get caught up. But and actually, like really low key, like. Not saying he's like one of my, top guys I'm looking forward to, but I'm definitely looking forward to see, like you mentioned, what Eric Scott can bring, because having a good camp and at this position that we're still looking for someone to be able to come up off the bench, even if we don't, like you say, if we don't have Diggs early, and he may have a chip on the shoulder himself. I mean, he came in with that 2023 class, and now all of a sudden you get another corner in the 5th round, and who pretty much they got in the 5th round because they jumped up to get Eric Scott. So a competition pretty much right in his face the next following year. So him coming on the shoulder, and like you just mentioned, Baker coming in, still being young, and even though he got drafted in the 1st round, he went to the Giants, y'all. So did he really have that much of a chance to really implement something, or like, hey, I was able to do this? No, like he had 1 year with the Giants, and had some other things happen off field, so other things that he went through, and like you said, having a resurgence year, or I don't know if he had a resurgence year, but coming back in the UFL, having another chance, and like you said, going to a team like the Cowboys, like even going through what we're going through, like the Cowboys is not the Giants, y'all. So like you said, just like the competition is definitely, like, of course, with towards the bottom of the roster. We're talking about the top 3, y'all, but if Diggs isn't ready, but just the competition at the bottom of the roster is, especially when it comes to special teams and like seeing how they can contribute as well. That's gonna be a big factor. Like you said, just these guys coming in with that similar mentality, like, hey, this spot is mine, or. And so we care about 3-4 guys, like we just mentioned, Kalen Carson, Eric Scott, Baker coming on, what I'm saying, from a year out at the league, what I'm saying. So, like you said, competition about to get real thick.
Yeah, it's about to get real thick, and it seems like that's the theme. Like I said, that's the theme of, I've been saying this, y'all heard it here first, Star said that's the theme of camp this year. Right. Competition, because it seems like they want a load of competition everywhere, especially on that defense, because they want the guys on the field to actually earn it.
Right.
They want the guys on the field to actually earn it. And for the previous years, we've said it here on this show, those guys weren't earning spots. Those guys were sitting out. We had Jordan Lewis sitting out of preseason. We had everybody and their mama sitting out of preseason.
Kick back, like for real, like
in the sweat, like they're not competing.
Exactly, and not just physically sitting out, but I'm sure it had something to do with them mentally. Because even Zach, like I mentioned earlier, with Zach Martin coming forward and saying he's working with Duke, also for him to come forward and say, "Hey, I didn't have my best season after sitting out." I'm saying
that was big, Zach Martin, because it's like it seems like everybody is just locking in. You know what I'm saying? Locking And
that's not like just seeing vulnerability from some of these players, like and being honest, like you said, Star. Sometimes they're not exactly looking out for some of these questions, like with Demo. I'm sure he didn't mean to answer what position he was going to be in and where Clark is going to come in, or these guys don't mean to give up, scheme or nothing like that. But these guys are, I think, coming in with a little bit more emotion this year because they know they have a chance. These guys are coming in knowing that they're going to be.
They have a chance, right? They have a chance. Pressure is on. Like I said, nobody can just sit back. Oh, I got my contract. I'm good. No, ain't nobody good.
Right.
We don't even know you may not even be on this roster come September. So everybody has to max out. Because
like you always mention, like some of these guys aren't Zimmer's guys. So even though we know his, what he's done before in the past as far as a scheme or the guys he got before, you don't know. He's coming into a new team, for a second time, coming to the Cowboys for a second time, but his new team, quote unquote, trying to do something different. Like you said, he's not trying to reinvent the wheel, but he wants success. So he's not going to come in with the same old. Like he's going to, like everyone's been pretty much saying, all the players have been saying that, and even some of the coaches have been saying, hey man, we're switching things up. We're coming back a little bit different this year. We may not see the thing that you guys may think that we're going to be doing. We even heard Kendrick saying it. So Zimmer coming in with maybe a different scheme. He may have some different guys in mind. So even though you may not be a Zimmer guy, he may still keep you around. And hey, if maybe you may think you're a Zimmer guy, you may think you have a soon enough star, but hey, like everyone just got to be on their
exactly. Best. Everybody's got to be on their P's and Q's, and you're really gonna be able to tell who was staying focused during this 6 weeks.
Facts.
Because you got 6 weeks, and then you go to training camp, and training camp is a month long.
Right.
So
and it's like I said, like Mike McCarthy said, it's fast. You got to know where you left off.
Right, exactly. Because when you get to camp, there's no more learning. The learning is done. When you get to camp, it's an all-out bloodbath and competition.
Facts. Ain't no more asking. I mean, you can ask a question, but ain't no more asking questions. Ain't no more. What's this? Where I'm supposed to
Once
be
camp starts, we're doing evaluations, and we're putting checks and X's next to people's names.
Facts.
So these players, if they really want a spot on this roster, like we said, they're gonna have to max out. They're gonna have to compete. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the cornerback room. Obviously, what's up, Niecy? Glad to see you. It's like obviously that our all pros are going to be on the field, but that's about it. Our all pros and pro bowlers will be on the field. But everybody else, which is majority of the team, is not all pros and pro bowlers.
Right.
So everybody else, even though you may have talent and this and that, like, is that going to be enough?
Right. Exactly. Like, you can't just...
Because everybody got talent.
Yeah. You can't just bring it physically. You have to bring it on the mental side as well. Because, like, McCarthy has mentioned it. Zimmer has mentioned it. They've had Solari has mentioned it. They've had these guys taking notes. They have you in the film room. So it's not just, I can get on the field. I can run this way. I can be here. I can be there where I'm supposed to be. But do you have the play down? You have the scheme down. You know what I'm saying? So it's just going to be more than just like you said, Star. It's going to be more than I've had this spot before. It's mine. Like no, like they're looking at everybody, giving everybody a fair shake, a fair shot at the position, and seeing what each guy can bring individually and how they can contribute to this team and make it better as a whole.
Right. And so that's why, and I think Amp has said this, and Carl, like, this season is going to be very exciting. It's going to be very exciting for us. Yeah. Why is it going to be very exciting? Because we finally get to see players play that we would never have seen played if that Great Wall was still here in front of them, right? And you get to see young players actually get out there and play because, a lot of times when you come to Dallas Cowboys, the young players don't get all the burn in the tick unless you're like top flight, like we drafted you in the first round. If we drafted you in the first and second round, then we're like, yeah, we're going to see you. But it's like other positions, it just wasn't sure unless there was a hole in that position. So this is going to be an exciting season for us. And I like this season because everybody is out on us. You know what I'm saying? Everybody thinks we suck. Everybody thinks that we're not going to win. We will be lucky to win 9 games. And that's when the Dallas Cowboys play best. We play best when no one believes in us, when everybody thinks we're going to suck and we're really going to win and we'll be lucky to even make playoffs. That's when we show up and show out.
Yeah. I feel you, sister. Like you said, not just a different team and the way they play, but like because we bring in younger players who have that fire, but also bringing that like you always mention that different attitude. Even with the guys they brought in from UFL, seeing guys like Baker, or even just checking out some of the stats from Noah Dawkins, it was really Harvey. Seeing a guy who's not afraid to come to the line and make those hits, to step up and make those tackles. Seeing guys in coverage, like we have to see that. We need
that. And that's the identity of a Mike Zimmer linebacker. From Maris to the undrafted free agents to these guys that they're obviously looking at from the UFL. You know, they want players, they want linebackers that are flying downhill and hitting.
Right.
So someone like Damone Clark, who openly admitted, he said, hey, you know, I struggled last year because I was worried about my injury. Nice. So players like that, like Damone, this isn't a year where you can be really worried about your injury, dog, because we've got all of these linebackers behind you that aren't injured, that aren't going to be worried about injuries, that are going to be flying downhill. So it's like, if you want that starting position, you're going to have to play with reckless abandon like we saw your rookie year. Mm-hmm. You know, that's that. Like we're going to, our LBs make me drill. Yeah, and what's crazy is that last year linebackers was our weakness, but this year I think linebackers will be our strength. You can already tell with just how Eric Kendricks has taken them under his wing and how he's really leading them. You can already see the linebackers, they just feel more comfortable because they have somebody out there telling them, we're going left, we're going right, we're going forward. You know what I'm saying? Compared to when they didn't have...
I know in your videos, you're always mentioning that all the players, every single one of them mentioned Kendrick's name.
Every single one of them. That's true. Every single one. All the linebackers... EK, they call him EK, because he's the one who's really been leading them and showing them. Because they didn't have any leaders last year. They literally did not know what the hell they were doing. Scott McCurley didn't know. Scott McCurley is learning this year from Paul Gunther. Yes. Paul Gunther is showing Scott McCurley, like, this is what they're supposed to be doing. This is how you teach them. Because I don't think Scott McCurley had a clue of what to do last year.
Right.
I mean, it was clear the whole group was lost from game 1 to game 17. Well, from game 1 to playoffs.
18, right?
So you can't sit here and tell me that Scott McCurley knew what he was doing when the whole group was lost. No, you didn't know what you was doing at all.
Right. And shout out to Paul Gunther. I didn't know, like, just looking at some of the players they brought in. Conley, he was actually Conley's defensive coordinator for most of his career, he said. I don't know if that'd be an indicator that they bring him in or not, but
I didn't know about that, but I know Paul was the one who went out and found Maris. Nice. So I didn't know that. Okay. Yeah, he went out and found Maris Leofow. So Paul is definitely he's going. I think bringing him in is a key.
Yeah, he seems to have an impact.
He's a key that's going to help unlock this defense.
Yeah.
For sure, he's a key that's going to help unlock the defense. I think he already is doing it. Yeah. And he's spending a lot of time with Micah. Spend a lot of time with Damone. Spend a lot of time with Demarion Overshown. Spend a lot of time with Maris Leofow. Obviously, he's the one who picked Maris. So I think he's gonna have these linebackers ready. It's basically like the same way it was with George Edwards. Scott McCurley was linebacker coach in name, but George Edwards was a real linebacker coach. Exactly. And that's how it's gonna be this year. Scott McCurley is linebacker coach in name, but Paul Gunther is going to be the real linebacker coach.
Low key, right? Because we don't see him. We don't see Paul, but we like you mentioned with Clark bringing up his name and Micah Parsons as well. They both mentioned his name. So
yeah,
you said
he's definitely been doing. He's been working wonders already. That's all I can say. It seems like he's been working wonders already.
Right. For y'all, don't look for Zimmer's name to be mentioned. Look for these guys like Greg Ellis. Look for these guys like Paul Gunther.
Greg Ellis, yep.
To be mentioned.
Greg Ellis has been helping. Well, if y'all see Sam Williams and them just off the chain with technique this year, or you see different types of technique with Micah, and you like, what the hell? Now we know Micah does his own individual training and stuff like that, so we know Micah is refining his technique on his own. But Greg Ellis, Micah said he spent a lot of time with Greg Ellis on one-on-one. So Greg Ellis is going to be that technician that's really helping refine the hands of our entire D-line. So our entire D-line really should take another step up under his leadership, because clearly under, no offense, we liked our British guy Aiden Dirty, but it's like clearly under Aiden, there was some issues. You know what I'm saying? There were some issues. So hopefully, this new coaching staff really gets these guys going and takes them under their wing. And it seems like they've already done it, but really got these guys going, takes them under their wing.
And they haven't even really 6 weeks yet. So imagine, like you said, imagine the 6 weeks and then leading up to camp and leading up to the season. Like these guys have a lot to. Of course, they have a lot to learn, but they have a lot of time to learn and to be able to amp up on their skills. What's up, West Coast in the building? What's good, fam? How you doing? We were just talking about you earlier when Big Time came through.
What's up, West Coast? Glad to see you, brother. And I don't know if people know, but West Coast is the one who paired me and Mickey together. So we always got to shout out Big Brother West Coast, because he's the reason that StarChasers Girls Talk Ball even exists.
Facts, yes. Like that's all on your shoulders, West Coast. Like we really appreciate you, fam. Like, legend in the building, y'all, for real.
Absolute legend. Y'all follow Big Brother West Coast Cowboy if y'all not already. Y'all should already be following, but if y'all haven't followed him, please go give him a follow.
Right, about 3-4 times a day, y'all. Like make sure you guys please.
Exactly. But anyway, sis, I guess we can wrap it up. I do gotta go, but before we get out of here, guys, thank y'all for another amazing show. Thank you for all the content creators who came and shouted us out in the chat. I really appreciate y'all. Love y'all so much. Big Brother West, Amp, Big Time. Who else? I feel like somebody else came in here that I might have missed. Let me scroll through the chat. But just thank you to everybody and all of our just loyal subscribers: Tyrone, Carl, Keystone, Nisi, Jameson, all of you guys, Eastside. Thank you guys so much. Kelvin, thank you guys so much for rocking with us in the chat and for being loyal supporters. That Yoda, thank you guys so much for supporting us and continuing to help us push our content out. Please like the video. Please share the video if y'all haven't. Please subscribe to Mickey and I's YouTube channel. Hers Cravin Cowboys, mine Stargazer Sports.
Yes.
And
we love spending time with y'all. We love putting the work in. We really appreciate y'all. Shout out that, like I said, shout out to everybody in the building that came through, that hit the like, that hit the subscribe. Make sure you retweet us as well. If you're listening on X, retweet us and join us on the YouTube side. Come and subscribe.
Yes, X. Join us on the YouTube side, please. Please help us out. Come on, X. Stop watching for free. Come on. I don't want to stop streaming the X, but I'm like, I might have to. And just post the links, because y'all tripping. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Like West Coast said, we need to get the 1K by kickoff, y'all. We're looking for that. That's a good goal. Thank you. See,
that's a good goal.
Just bless us again.
Let's get the 1K by kickoff. Exactly. Help us, please.
Yeah. We need to start that campaign. So that is facts. Yeah, we getting the 1K before what is it? September 8th, y'all. 1K by September 8th.
Yep. Absolutely. Anyways,
appreciate y'all. Thank y'all so much for coming through. We'll catch y'all next time. Pardon my dog, y'all. Sorry. He just We love y'all. We catch y'all next time. See y'all next week.
Peace.